Hi there. Which are the 10 top investments you could consider to do in Kenya in 2025? Top 10 investments is what I'm going to be talking about in this video. You are all much welcomed to the Money Daily TV. My name is Afagza Sifuna. By the way, if you are new here, kindly consider subscribing to this channel, and also you'll still add it, drop a like on this video. Thank you for liking this video. Having said that, the topmost investment which you could look to jump onto and be able to make money in Kenya is you investing in real estate. Of course, real estate has come with all twists out here. For example, commercial units and even recently, maybe affordable housing. Of course, we all know dynamics around affordable housing, but then again, it is an option you might just consider. Guys, real estate is the titan of investments. And I'm saying so because real estate is bound to give you money over time. Of course, you require to have substantial amount of upfront capital, but having invested there, we're talking about real estate gaining value as soon as you invest in real estate. But of course, this has a caveat too. You need to target those properties which have potential for growth. Don't go, for example, in the extreme interiors out there, because also those extreme interiors, chances are it's gonna take even hundreds of years for them to develop. But you can bet on those very high growth to mid growth level of real estate and be sure you can be able to make money either through just being an outright realtor or even so you being a developer, basically building houses and seeing how you can get them to the market or get people to rent those houses. Okay? And then the second investment, which can make you money in Kenya, is you investing in agro business and agri technology. Agri-tech is also big out there. So I'm combining both agriculture and agri-tech. Reason being, this is an area which has also appreciated technology over time. You could do traditional agriculture. Of course, you need to be smart. Traditional agriculture is going to give you money, but then again, you can think of smart ways you can be able to make more money. For example, greenhouse farming. For example, you jumping on dairy farming because you have shortage of milk in the country. You, for example, jumping on export crops and also thinking about agri-tech solutions. Maybe solutions out there for smart irrigation, solution, for example, for mobile based solutions when it comes to agriculture. This is an area which can also give you money in Kenya. And then the third area, which is also quite lucrative in the country, is you jumping in renewable energy sector. Guys, we've all seen, for example, how people out here are quite tired when it comes to maybe getting electricity from Kenya Power. Maybe because of blackouts, maybe because of high electricity bills, etc. By the way, if you've been affected, what was your recent electricity bill? Did you pay huge amounts of money? In case you are using tokens, how much do you typically pay per month? Share down below. Let's discuss, see how people out here are experiencing the cost of energy in the country. Okay? So, alternative energy, renewable energy, and we're talking about, for example, solar energy, has really grown. We are seeing solar panels being sold out there, people building houses with outright plan of solar panels being installed, those who are already on the grid thinking about transiting to solar panels, basically because we are truly blessed when it comes to our climate. And then coupling that with the challenges around Kenya Power, people are considering solar panel to a huge extent. And of course, beyond solar panel, they are also looking at, for example, small scale hydroelectric plants, EV charging infrastructure, etc. All these are alternative energy sources which are renewable, which people are looking into for them to be able to offset traditional energy sources. You can jump on that and then you're going to be able to also make money. And then, guys, The fourth area through which you can make money in Kenya by investing in this area is fintech, financial technology, and also digital services. Of course, the Kenya's fintech space began to be revolutionary starting with M-Pesa, but right now we are talking about there being a myriad of fintech opportunities in the country. For example, micro lending platforms. For example, e-commerce payment integration options out there. For example, digital insurance platforms out there, crypto stroke blockchain applications, etc. The fintech space is growing by the day, and we are seeing new offers and also new twists when it comes to these category offers out there. In case you are passionate about matters finance, matters around financial inclusion, you could look to jump into the fintech space and be sure this is an area which is also rewarding entrepreneurs out there big time. Because at the end of it, if you can solve financial problems for people out there from the comfort of their phones, chances are you're gonna make very insane return on investment. And then the fifth area you can look to jump onto and be able to make money too is in the education and edtech space. What do I mean? Just the same way as fintech space, we are also seeing increase in demand in quality skill-based education and digital learning out there. Of course, we also, during the COVID time, there was a huge shift in the global learning mechanism because even universities out there began teaching people remotely. Even big companies out there began hiring for skills. And that instead of people out there to find ways to train remotely for them to remain competitive. Different areas emerged in the edtech space. For example, coding schools and boot camps. Okay? For example, online learning platforms, vocational training centers which offer services online, affordable private schools, and even guys in Kenya, we have a fully fledged university which is accredited and only does online learning. That tells you the possibilities in the fintech space, in the edtech space are quite high and they are bound to increase as time progresses. And then the sixth area, which you can invest in and then be able to also make huge amounts of money, is you jumping in the healthcare space and health tech. Guys, healthcare is an area which is evergreen. And I'm saying so because people out here are going to continuously being sick because of different factors. And by the way, I was reading a given report, it was about 2 days ago, which was kind of shocking, saying that, for example, in Kenya, the biggest driver of mortality, basically deaths, is non communicable diseases, which accounts for 62% of deaths in the country. That tells you because of lifestyle challenges out there, changes in human dynamics, we are seeing more and more people out there being sick with those non communicable diseases. That tells you there's a huge opportunity. In case, for example, you are a medic or even a business person, you could look to jump into, for example, diagnostics and clinical services, telemedicine spaces, etc., medical supply chains. Think about affordable insurances. The options are not limited in this area because at the end, all these areas which appease the health system areas are gonna assist you get to the money because you're gonna be solving real world challenges, assisting people gain access to health services, assisting bridge the gap around equality when it comes to access, and in the process, you're gonna end up getting paid some good amount of money. And then, guys, the seventh area which could look to invest is tourism and ecologies. In Kenya, tourism is a very big area because we are talking about tourists accounting for a good chunk of income that we are getting year in, year out. And when it comes to this particular area of tourism, you might have a myriad of investment options out there. For example, you looking to start eco-friendly lodges near parks. I'm pretty sure if you are in a town which is near a park, for example, Nairobi, Nakuru, Voi, you name it, you could think about eco-friendly lodges near parks. Okay? Maybe you could think about cultural tourism experiences where you package culture and then partner with other companies out there, partner with hotel to be able to offer these services to tourists, and in the process, you're gonna get paid. Think about short stay properties, which of course most of the times are typically called as Airbnb because Airbnb business revolutionized that. And beyond that, you could also think about travel agencies. I've seen out here travel agencies make insane amount of money, more so if they can coordinate from upstream, basically from where tourists are coming from. They can organize the entire experience in the country they are in and then be able to make good chunks of money. In Kenya, for example, we are talking about companies like, for example, Bonfire Adventure, which has been able to make quite a good chunk of money over years by basically jumping on the travel agency business and organizing experiences for people in the tourism space. And then, guys, the eighth area which you could look to invest in and be able to make huge amounts of money is transport or logistics business. Whether you are providing passengers transport, when it comes to good, for example, 2PL, 3PL, you name it, guys, you're gonna be able to make insane amounts of money. And I'm saying so because day in, day out, people need to move from one point to another. Day in, day out, goods need to move from one point to another. You could think about last mile delivery services. Think about fleet leasing or logistics tech. Think about cold chain solutions. All these are areas which you could jump onto and be able to render services to different potential people out there you can partner with. At the end of the day, things need to move for our economy to prosper. And with that, we have a big opportunity in the transport and logistics sector. And then the ninth area, which you could look to jump onto and be able to make money in Kenya, is manufacturing and value addition. We all know, of course, each and every government out there, regardless talking about which time period, manufacturing in Kenya has been a huge priority. Basically, because the government appreciates that manufacturing, in addition to agriculture, have been our core engine drivers of the economy. That's why you can think about different manufacturing ideas out there. For example, in the area of food processing, leather and textile, construction materials, packaging, you name it. Manufacturing and value addition opportunities in Kenya are not limited. Most of the value addition bit because as a country, we export a huge ton of raw materials to other countries out there, and then we miss out big time on value addition. If you can jump on value addition space and do it properly, be sure you can make insane amount of money. Of course, the areas around manufacturing and value addition are not limited. It is upon you to think very well which solution are you bringing to the market. As long as you have customers, you're gonna be able to make money. And then the 10th area, which you can look to jump onto and be able to make money through investment, is you investing in the stock markets, government bonds, you name it. Basically, jumping in the financial services space. Stock market is an area through which you can also make money by you investing. And on average, globally and even in Kenya, we are talking about stock markets yielding a return of somewhere between 7%, 10% each and every year. Of course, government bonds returns could be slightly higher depending on the dynamics. For example, you jumping on infrastructure bonds out there or even treasury bills, this could yield a higher percentage compared to stock market. By the end of it, guys, all these are viable options which you might consider as investments for you to be able to make money. What do you all think about this video? What do you think about these 10 investment options which you could look to jump onto for you to be able to make money in Kenya? Are there other amazing investment opportunities out there which you think a Kenyan can jump onto and be able to make money? Share down below in the comment section. Let's continue discussing. Cheers, guys, and you all stay safe.